Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. K. Anil Kumar, Assistant Professor, Indira Gandhi National Open University, New Delhi. Today we are going to talk on module Anthropology of Governance from paper Socio-Cultural Anthropology. In this module, you will able to know the governance in anthropological perspective, how the concept of governance evolved over the years, about the paradigm shift from primitive societies to modern societies. Also, you know about the journey from political anthropology to anthropology of policy. So, the word governance has come into existence towards the end of 20th century when world community organized a summit on social development in Copenhagen in 1995, underlining the need for good governance. It is a concept that helps identify states in terms of their performance. It is a more of the process where the government has a role to play. This concept is used not only for the society or the state as a whole, but for all systems. But long before discussion, governance, rather good governance was very much prevalent in earlier societies. It existed in the form of social sanctions to organize socio-cultural behavior and maintain coherence in the society. Conventions, usages, norms, customs, belief systems, etc. were the informal ways of maintaining coherence. Even unwritten laws were binding on the individual and group behavior. During the Middle Ages, since feudal customs and churches had the great authority, the social life was governed by those institutions. However, the modern society is highly complex in nature. Presently, the whole world is concerned about problems relating to positioning of institutions with the aim of establishing good governance. Concept of governance over the years. Anthropology from the second half of the 19th century to first half of the 20th century was solely concerned with stateless societies. Later, during the 1940s, with the publication of African Political System by Mayer Fortis and E. Evans Pritchard, the focus shifted to specific study of political organizations. Again, Radcliffe Brown's structural functionalism contributed towards this. Edmund Leach, 1954, in his book Political Systems of Highland Burma, argued societies change and are not static and not in equilibrium. Max Gluckman also said that societies maintain stability through conflicts. Again, in 1950s, the context shifted from local to larger setting as a Robert Redfield emphasized on little and great traditions. Thus, the trend of studying complex societies using ethnographic method started. Student, now we discuss about concept of governance over the years. Modern anthropology owes its analytical style of investigation to the work of French philosopher Michel Foucault. It is concerned with analyzing what has been dubbed the will to govern of particular importance to such and analytics are three dimensions of government. Firstly, there are reasons of government. Second, there are techniques of government. Finally, there are subjects of government. The reasons of government encompasses all those forms of knowledge, expertise and calculations that render human beings thinkable and make them amenable to political programming. The technical part is that domain of practical mechanism, instruments and programs through which authorities of various types seeks to shape and instrumentalize human conduct. Finally, the subject of government covers the diverse types of individual and collective identity that arise out of and inform governmental activity. Thus, Foucault studied governments, a heterogeneous field of thought and action, to ethnographic scrutiny in a variety of empirical settings and called it governmentality. In his lecture, Foucault undertakes a genealogical analysis of the art of government. His analysis was based on questions: who can govern, how best to govern, how to be governed, and how to govern oneself and others. For Foucault, governing, that is, the regulation of conduct, is not merely a matter of government and its institutions, but involves a multitude of heterogeneous entities, from politicians, philanthropists, and the state bureaucrats to academics, clerics, and medics. The objective of the government is efficient and productive disposition of things. The stance of the government: it is not a matter of improving law on people, but of arranging things so as to produce an end appropriate to and convenient for each of the things governed. The important point, therefore, is that men and things to be administered in a correct and efficient way. According to Foucault, it was a form of surveillance and control as attentive as that of the head of the family over his household and his goods. However, with the expansion of capitalism and the democratic growth, the theme of the family was replaced with the population, that became the object and fundamental concern of the government, and its association with technology of power called biopower. This technology of biopower, according to Foucault, has two basic forms. One form, which Foucault calls biopolitics of the population, or simply biopolitics, is concerned with population at the level of its aggregate effects. Here, biopower takes as its target the population regarded as species body, the body imbued with the mechanics of life and serving as the basis of the biological processes: propagation, birth, and mortality, the level of health, life expectancy, and longevity, with all the conditions that can cause these to vary. Thus, biopolitics is the processes of collective social body, and its goal is to optimize the life of the population as a whole. The second form is anatomopolitics of the human body, or simply discipline, implies the management of population in its depth and in its details. Important elements of governmentality. Analysis of the art of government emphasizes three important elements to governmentality. The first element is the term government refers essentially to the conduct as considered and calculated ways of thinking and actual acting, the purpose to shape, regulate, and management of individuals or groups towards specific goals or ends. The second element is the exercise of governmental power, which is simply not the state but also the organizations and agencies concerned with exercising authority over the conduct of human beings. The bottom line here is that government takes place both within and outside state context. The third element is that the principal target of the government is population. This means that political and other authorities have come to understand the work of governing as to act upon the particulars of human conduct so as to enhance the security, health, prosperity, and happiness of population. You can see a picture of the communist slogan West Bengal, and the source of this picture is from Anthropology, Politics and the State, a book by Jonathan Spencer. From political anthropology to anthropology of policy. Like Foucault, Max Weber, Ideas and Market, Emile Durkheim's division of labor, and Karl Marx's ideas on class structure influenced the discipline further. While studying political institutions, relationship between government and the governed, anthropologists went deeper to the study of policies. According to Chris Schorer, who championed the field, argues policies as instrumental and always influence upon the social world. Chris Schorer's interest was to study ideology, conflict, organizations, institutions, trade union and political parties. He made an ethnographic study of Partito Comunista Italiano, that is PCI, from the bottom of upward. He studied how party organization and ideology intersected with issues of identity and culture. He differentiated politics from policy. Politics, he said, is the whole realm of power relations and the relationship between government and the governed. But policy is something more specific. It includes all those ideas and codified formulas that government used to bring about particular political vision. Politics are socio-political blueprints, but policies are more than just a blueprint. It is about power, authority, and effects. It is also about how plans are translated into action, who is authorized to put it into action, and with what result. Thus, the process of procedures and effects that policies have at a different scale and at a different level is the study of policy. As Chris Shore puts, policy as its trajectory, its genealogy, the language used to frame, the way it is translated into practice, its institutionalization, and the effect it gives a methodological frame. To sum up, the study of policy is a way of understanding society and culture. Student, now we summarize this module. As I told you, after going through this model, you able to understand the governance in anthropological perspective, and the concept of governance evolved over the years, and also you might have understand paradigm shift from primitive societies to modern societies, how government shifts. And also from this model you might have understand the journey of anthropology from political anthropology to anthropology of policy. Anthropology has come a long way from studying political organization of small, isolated and stateless societies to modern complex societies. Focus on governance is a relatively recent development. The concept of governance is not applicable to the society or the state as a whole, but for all systems. Modern anthropology owes a great deal to the Foucauldian concept of governmentality. Presently, the focus has been on the study of policy as a modern age policies and instrumental in shaping the socio-cultural life of the people.